Good morning, friends. Happy MPA Monday. Got lots of little birds out today. Some white-crowned sparrows. I believe that's a thrasher over there. Lots of life out today. For those of you not in California or unfamiliar, we had quite a bit of rain last week, so the wildlife is loving it. Good morning everyone. Happy MPA Monday. Someone up here. Good morning.
How you doing?
Good.
Are you gonna walk the whole loop?
Yep.
The about halfway on the boardwalk out there. About how far? You think 50 feet out? There's some kind of a green something. I don't know. It looks like it might be canvas. Maybe it's a piece of a boat, or just doesn't look natural. I didn't want to go out there, but keep an eye out.
Oh yeah, thank you.
If you have binoculars or something, you can see.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much.
I don't know if it's worth going after or not, but it looks man-made.
Okay. Thanks. Have a good walk.
Yeah, you too.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I believe that's just a white-crowned sparrow up there. Good morning, Stu. Dealing with snow in New Jersey. Glad we could bring some sunshine your way. Good morning, Jean. It is a beautiful day. We actually were forecasted to have some rain today, which is always nice, but I'm glad that I'm able to show you this absolutely beautiful day. Good morning, Joan. Welcome everyone. We'll go ahead and start our stroll. So for those of you who have not yet seen a tour of this location, we are at the Marina Peninsula Trail. So you can see this boardwalk here, and it goes along the Morro Bay estuary, which is what we're looking out at. And it's a beautiful day, super clear because of all the rain we had. So it's going to be pretty enjoyable. I'll go ahead and introduce myself. Hello everyone, my name's Robin. I'm with California State Parks. And you can find me on Facebook every Monday for MPA Monday. MPA stands for Marine Protected Areas, which are essentially like underwater parks. And in California, we actually have 124 of them, which actually makes the largest network of marine protected areas in the world. And I just cover a small little portion on the Central Coast. So I'm smack dab in the middle of the Central California coast in the San Luis Obispo Coast District, which covers, it's near San Luis Obispo, the town of San Luis Obispo. Today I'm in Morro Bay, and it actually covers from Montaña de Oro, just to the south of me on the other side of the bay, Montaña de Oro State Park, all the way up past Hearst Castle, almost to Big Sur. So it's a pretty large stretch, about 42 miles of coastline. And along that coastline we have quite a few MPAs. So every Monday we'll explore a different MPA, a different park, and get to see the wildlife in the area, what the day has to bring, whether it's rain, sunshine, wind. Every Monday is different, so it's always fun to explore with you guys. Of course, we'd love to have you guys here, but this is the best that we've got right now. And I love when you guys comment and question in the box below, so it just makes me feel like I'm not a talking head and I'm actually out here with some folks. We've got some egrets flying overhead. Again, an absolutely beautiful day. You can see some of the Morros in the distance. This right here is Cerro Cabrillo. And And the rocky one in the background, I believe that's Hollister. And you can't see it here, but beyond these trees, we have Black Hill, which is actually within the state park. And then the furthest west Morro that we can see is Morro Rock. And a morro basically is just a hill. In the county of San Luis Obispo, we have almost like a vertebrae, a bunch of these hills or morros that stretch all the way east to the town of San Luis Obispo, which is about 12 miles east of here. And again, it's like a vertebrae. It's like a string of pearls. And they're ancient volcanoes. Morro Rock, if any of you are familiar with it, which we may actually be able to see on the other end of this hike, is actually a volcanic plug. So it was formed 26 million years ago. It was a volcano. And within that volcano, a little tiny air vent formed, and it solidified the lava and magma within that volcano, and it plugged it up. So you can think of it kind of like an earth pimple. It just plugged up that volcano. And what we see now today of Morro Rock is a volcanic plug. It's just solidified lava and magma. And over time it has eroded away, obviously. The volcano is much smaller because the earth and the vegetation that would normally be on that mountain is no longer there. And the actual volcanic matter has also deteriorated over time. Some of it was actually quarried to form some of the jetties and different structures we've got here. So you can see the tide's actually pretty high right now, which I actually haven't been on the coast just yet, so we'll see it in a little bit. But you can see the water right here is pretty high. And what's so cool is that it's so high, we've actually got some kayakers coming inland on these little creeks. I have not yet done this, but would love to do this. Super fun. You also have to be very careful, making sure you're paying attention to the tides, whether it's coming in or out. Paying attention to the wind and the weather, of course. But definitely a fun activity, and not super often that you see kayakers just here, because oftentimes, like you can see, there's a bit of water here, but all of this is, you know, basically mud. This is a mud flat, and that's oftentimes what it's like back here. High tides aren't always super high, except during this time of year, of course. You can see that string of pearls, those morros, stretching all the way to the east. The glistening of Morro Bay in the distance. Good morning. Just to the south of us, we have the town of Los Osos. On the other side of Morro Bay, the hills off in the distance, that is our southernmost park here in the San Luis Obispo Coast District. The one I mentioned earlier, that's Montaña de Oro State Park. Beautiful park. Maybe we'll visit there next time. And Montaña de Oro State Park actually stretches onto the sand spit. So you can see the dunes, sand dunes in the distance there. It actually helps to protect Morro Bay, keeping the waters calm. And Montaña de Oro State Park actually stretches through that sand spit. Not the whole bit, just about halfway though. Good morning, Erin. Good morning, Omar. Yeah, it's really cool to see kayakers out there, isn't it? So like I mentioned earlier, this is the Morro Bay Estuary. And an estuary is actually a type of wetland. And I came here specifically today because tomorrow is World Wetlands Day. Woohoo! World Wetlands Day, basically just a day to celebrate lands that are wet, right? But tomorrow we're actually going to be doing something really fun here at California State Parks. We're going to be doing a live stream up the California coast, starting at the Tijuana Estuary, visiting a handful of parks up the coastline and ending up at Mendocino, just north of San Francisco. And we'll be doing a live stream with different state park interpreters, scientists, biologists, even some collaborating partners that different parks work with. And if all goes well, tomorrow was forecasted to have rain up until about yesterday. But if we do not have rain, we'll actually be kayaking out here. So it's a pretty fun experience because the view of the participant, the person watching, will actually have a view as if you're actually kayaking. So you have to tune in to see what that actually looks like. But some of you may have seen it before. We've done it in other programs in the past for World Oceans Day, Biodiversity Week. So it's a lot of fun. Hoping all goes well with the weather. We'll be kayaking tomorrow, and you can find that either here on our Facebook pages, Morro Bay State Parks or her San Simeon State Park. Or you can also find it on the California State Parks Facebook page. And that's going to be at 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. So from 2 to 3, come celebrate a live stream for World Wetlands Day with California State Parks. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun facts. And it's just interesting and fun to see different parks throughout our coastline, throughout our state. Learn about the different kinds of wetlands that we have. I know another park that we'll be visiting is the San Elijo down in San Diego, San Elijo Lagoon, another kind of wetland. And they'll actually be collaborating with a partner that they work with often called the Nature Collective. Lots of birds out today. Not sure if you guys can see this. We've even got some little guys right here. I believe that's a godwit. A little hard to see the bell. Such a nice day. A little bit of warmth from the sun. It's probably about 65 degrees. A little bit of a breeze. Anybody who's popped in late, welcome. We're here at the Marina Boardwalk Trail, or the Marina Peninsula Trail, here at Morro Bay State Park, right in the center of the Central California coast, about 3 hours north of Los Angeles and 3 hours south of San Francisco. And we're just taking a little stroll, enjoying the marine protected area just here adjacent to this park. And again, a marine protected area is much like an underwater park. This area is protected, allowing all of this wildlife to thrive. It's a perfect image right here of an MPA. Lots of wildlife thriving as well as humans playing. It's exactly what MPAs are about. Just like parks that we all know and love and visit, whether it's a state park, a national park, a park down the street from your house, these are usually protected spaces with wild vegetation. And we often play in them, right? Whether we're kids or not kids, all people play. Whether we're hiking or riding our bikes, whatever it may be. We need these wild spaces to play, these public lands. And it also benefits all the wildlife that you see here. Because this is where they live, this is all that they know. So to be able to protect it just lets them be. Beautiful day to go kayaking. Bet we'll see quite a few more as we round this bend over here. Lots of noises. Let me know if you guys can hear those. Not only the shorebirds and the seabirds to the left, but lots of land birds to the right as well. It's like an orchestra out here. I believe this is a towhee. They're about the size of an American robin. They actually have a bit of orange on their bellies. I can't really see his belly too well. Good morning. I don't know if you guys were able to hear that, but I believe that's the sound of our state bird here. Let me know if anybody knows the California state bird. I don't see them, but I believe that was, see if anybody's got it. I believe that was the quail. Quail are always fun to see. Their little top notches. We've got a curlew. You can see that curled beak once he gives us a profile shot. That curled beak that bends down. It's a nice way to remember it's a curlew. Whereas a straight beak would be a willet. They're much shorter too. The beak's much shorter. And a little turned up beak is a willet. I'm sorry, not a willet. It's a godwit. World Wetlands Eve. I like that, Stu. Happy World Wetlands Eve. For those of you who didn't catch it before, tomorrow is World Wetlands Day. And we'll actually be doing a live stream, California State Parks, up the California coast, starting at the Tijuana Estuary and ending up at Mendocino, north of San Francisco. We'll be looking at different wetlands. Some people will be recreating, some people will have biologists on camera. So any questions you guys have, You can tune into California State Parks Facebook page tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to learn all about wetlands. And if all goes well with the weather here, we were forecasted to have rain, which is always nice. But if we don't have rain, we will be kayaking. Got a little Phoebe here, black Phoebe. They're always so fun to watch. They're little insectivores, so they like to eat insects. And they usually find a little perch, scope out the area, look for their next meal, and they'll quickly grab that insect, turn on a dime, and come back to their little perch. Super cute little birds. It is a beautiful day, Kathy. It's gorgeous today. We've got ourselves this beautiful cypress in front of us, and it actually looks a little decorated. You may be able to see that because we've got a lot of egrets hanging out like little ornaments all over the tree. They stand out because they're bright white. So it looks like a little decorated Christmas tree. So this is the back end of Morro Bay. We have the sand spit there. Good morning.
Morning.
Water stretches all the way this way towards Morro Rock, which we'll see peeking out right there. And the water actually exits out of the bay right by Morro Rock out into the ocean. This bit of water here is the marina, and we just walked around the peninsula, little peninsula that juts out, hence the name Marina Peninsula Trail. You can see all the boats here in the marina. This is also a great spot to launch a kayak. Just on the other side of this thing, there's a little kayak launch there. You can see some kayakers just sitting out. And there's our Morro Rock. Lots of beautiful bird sounds. If you're good with your bird sounds, let me know. Oh, I believe it's actually this guy right here. This is a junco. I've never heard him make that sound. I'm definitely not an expert though, so that doesn't mean anything. These birds are always so quiet when I see them. That's such a cute sound though. It's good to know when you can match a sound to a bird that you've seen. Rita is saying this is the best walk. It is the best walk. Super lovely. Not too long, but a lot to see. I see someone responded to a question. Thank you for that. The question was, can you show where the campgrounds would be? So this building right here is the Morro Bay Natural History Museum. The road actually curves on the other side of this marina, and on the other side of the road is where the campgrounds are. You can actually see, I mentioned it at the beginning of this program, Black Hill. You can actually see the little, through the eucalyptus there, you can see Black Hill, one of the Morros. That's the next one. So we've got Morro Rock all the way to the west. The next one to the east would be Black Hill. And then we've got Cerro Cabrillo. It's actually behind those trees there. The string of hills that stretch all the way to the east, 12 miles to the town of San Luis Obispo. Such a beautiful day. Got a little bufflehead in the water. I don't know if I could zoom in that far. Lots of kayakers out. Morro Rock, completely clear of fog, which has been rare the past couple days. Almost completely blue skies, with the exception of some clouds in the distance. So again, if you guys are all available tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you want to learn a little bit about wetlands, or maybe just check out some of the different California state parks we've got, make sure to tune in to California State Parks Facebook page at 2 p.m. We'll be doing a live stream checking out the different wetlands here in California, starting at the Tijuana Estuary, all the way at the Mexican border, all the way at the very south end of California. And we'll be hitting about 4 or 5 parks, one of them being here at Morro Bay, and hopefully we'll be kayaking, weather pending, and ending at Mendocino, just north of San Francisco. It's going to be a lot of fun, especially if we'll be able to kayak. You'll be able to ask questions, visit different parks virtually. It's going to be loads of fun. So make sure to tune into that if you're interested. I'll go ahead and sign off for now. Again, thank you for joining me. My name's Robin here at California State Parks, celebrating MPA Monday, where we celebrate the marine protected areas along our central California coast here. Our 42 miles, we celebrate different MPAs every Monday, usually exploring an adjacent park. So if anybody has any suggestions or wants to visit anywhere, feel free to drop those in the comments and I will try to make it happen. Of course, if it's a state park, it's much easier, but we do have partnerships throughout the district here, throughout this area, so I might be able to make something else work. I know that the Piedras Blancas Lighthouse, which is BLM land, cannot happen just yet, but as soon as restrictions are alleviated a bit for them at the light station, we definitely have plans to be visiting the Piedras Blancas light station up near Her San Simeon State Park, and that will actually be on our Her San Simeon Facebook page. So we alternate pages, so make sure to check both of them. And now we actually are putting these programs on our on our YouTube page. So at San Luis Obispo Coast District, you can find on our YouTube page different videos that we do. I know a lot of people have mentioned that not everybody's a Facebook user, so we took that into consideration, and we now have these available on YouTube, which is much more accessible to a lot more people, especially kids. So if kids are interested, feel free to bring them on and let them ask some questions. I know these are a bit longer for kids, so attention spans are definitely taken into consideration, and you can pop in and out whenever you like. This is just a live program to get you guys to see the beautiful parks that we have here on the the San Luis Obispo coast. Again, thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you guys can make it to World Wetlands Day tomorrow at 2 p.m. on the California State Parks Facebook page. Hope to see you there. Hopefully I'll be kayaking, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye guys.